All right, so we're going to go over the last TEK for simplifying expressions. This is TEK 11B, which is simplifying numeric and algebraic expressions using the laws of exponents. To remind you, that's the same base. So when we're multiplying exponents, we add the exponents if they have the same base. If we're dividing, such as in this question, number 13, we are dividing. I know I'm dividing exponents because I have this little bar right there that means a fraction. Fraction means that we have division happening. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say 45 and divide that by 15, and that will give me 3. So looking at my answers, A and B both have 3 as our answer choices. C and D have 30, so that's out. All right, now I'm going to take the M, and I'm going to do -6 minus, because the quotient rule says we subtract the bottom. But that's minus, and then that's a -2, so that becomes +2. So that gives me 3m to the -4. So that means I would write this as 3 over m to the 4th power to make it a +4. I look at my answer choices of A and B. A has m to the 8th on the bottom. B has m to the 4th on the bottom. So my answer is B. That easy. You might have to go one more if you're looking at it in terms, possibly, maybe, maybe not. You do know the P if you look at the P squared and the P to the 8th, because the 8 is bigger on the bottom. You know when you do 2 minus 8, that means that that's going to keep that in the bottom of that function. All right, let's go to the next question. So here we have the power rule happening. I know it's the power rule because we've got an exponent inside the parentheses and an exponent out. So I need to make sure that 2 gets distributed to all of those terms. So this becomes x squared times y to the 6 times 2 is -12. So that gives us our answer choice H. All right, question number 34. I know it looks really complicated because they say this expression is equivalent to x to the p. What is the value of p? It really is a lot more easy than they're really making it sound. They really just want you to simplify this expression and write down what that exponent is. So this would become x to the 22 times, I'm going to distribute that 3. So that becomes x to the 21 because 7 times 3 is 21. Now I'm going to add the exponents. So that becomes x to the 43, and that's equal to x to the p. So that p value is equal to 43. So our answer that we'd box in on the Scantron is 43. We'd like to point out that last year, or this was last year's question, only 36% of the state got that correct. So I think a lot of students overthought that question, or they just really, they saw that x to the p and they freaked out and just didn't understand. None of these questions are hard at all. They're not trying to trick you in terms of understanding. They're trying to trick you into that you're paying attention to what's asking. You should know everything that's on the star and be comfortable with it and be able to answer it. And most of these questions aren't going to take you that long to do. All right, so I have this polynomial expression to the power of 1/2. So that's the power rule. So this goes to every term inside the parentheses. Now, anything to the power of 1/2, that is the same thing as the square root. So 144, square root of 144 is going to give me 12. So that eliminates G and H. Then that's going to be K squared. So that would be K squared times 1/2. That would be K to the 2 times 1/2, which gives me 1. So F is K to the 1. J has K to the 2nd power. So our answer is F. All right, here we have quotient rule and power rule. I'm going to deal with the power rule first. Remember PEMDAS. So I'm going to distribute that -3. So this becomes Q to the -12 over Q to the -15. I'm going to flip-flop. Anything negative exponents gets moved to the bottom. Anything in the bottom that's negative exponents gets moved to the top. So really that becomes Q to the 15th over Q to the 12th, which becomes Q to the 3rd. So our answer is H. All right, we have one of these questions, we have a little bit more work to do. I can simplify this left side as we go along. So 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. I've got Q to the 5th on top, but no Q on the bottom, so that just stays Q to the 5th. I've got W, 7 minus 3 gives me 4, times that 2 only goes to this Q, not the 4, so that becomes 4. Then I'm going to do Q, 6 times 2, which is 12. this w to the negative is going to get moved up, so that's w to the 5th to make it positive. Now, I'm going to multiply the coefficients, 5 times 4, which gives me 20. So that eliminates A, and that eliminates C. Let's check something. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to do Q. 5 plus 12 gives me 17. W, 4 plus 9 gives me 9. So my answer is, or 4 plus 5 gives me 9. And so that gives me my answer B. It's the last one I'll do on this question, and then I'll continue the TEK in the next video. I don't want it to get too long. All right. The area of the rectangle is 54x to the 9th, y to the 8th square yards. The length is this expression here. Which expression gives us the width? This is not multiplication. Think about this. Area is equal to length times width. If we're looking for the width, that's going to be A divided by L is equal to our width. So I'm going to say 54x to the 9th, y to the 8th, divide by 6x squared, y cubed, x cubed, y to the 4th, and that's going to be equal to our width. So 54 divided by 6 gives us 9. So that eliminates G and J. Then I'm going to do 9 minus 3, because it's the quotient rule, gives me 6. So my answer is H. I will continue in the next video. See you then.